While the Kansas City Chiefs eked out another victory over the Cincinnati Bengals, it wasn't the best day of outcomes for left tackle Kingsley Suamataia, who was benched for Wanya Morris late in the fourth quarter of this football game. He didn't have his best game. He was struggling against one of the best speed rushers in the NFL in Trey Hendrickson. And while you wanted him to be ready, it's his second game in the NFL, and everything that led up to this point is going to pay off in the end. The only thing that we didn't want to see was this. Tons of pressures. I think he gave up 4 and 2 sacks in this football game to Trey Hendrickson. But we have to remember there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Rookies typically struggle against NFL pass rushers, not to mention ones coming out of BYU, who again were second-round picks. The Chiefs had a lot and do have a lot of confidence in this player, and I think that he's going to end up learning from these mistakes and getting better. And we're going to take today to find out everything that he's going to be able to improve upon and things that he can do as the NFL season progresses for Kingsley. So welcome into the RGR Football channel. My name is Daniel Harms, Senior Film Analyst. And if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that sub button right now. We are brought to you guys today by our new sponsor, Autograph. We'll have a little bit more information for you guys later in this video, but we are here to talk about Kingsley Suamataia. There's a big reason that he won the job outside of Wanya Morris being injured. It's because he does deserve it. They want to develop him, and sometimes you're going to get those growing pains. We talked about how the growing pains were always going to be there, and unfortunately for him, right out of the gate, he got to deal with the Baltimore Ravens pass rush, and then Trey Hendrickson, who has been fantastic. And I think he's a unique problem for Kingsley's early season struggles. So while you guys, again, if you're here, hit that sub button, join us here at RGR, and then allow me to earn a like from you guys for this breakdown as we jump in to what we're here to talk about. Because at the end of the day, all of this comes down to one thing: being able to get better as the season goes along. And this is week 2. So let's not forget there's going to be some things that he's just naturally going to have to get through. And the Chiefs did a pretty decent job early on in the game of creating different pathways for the ball to come out quickly and finding different ways to just kind of make the problem for Trey Hendrickson different. This is what the Chiefs typical chip looks like. Rashee Rice doesn't actually do anything on this play. He's just a reduced split receiver designed to create at least a little bit of a wall here. So you have a little bit less pathway to be able to move. Trey Hendrickson can't just come down here and go around. He's got to come down a little bit more of an angle and generate, kind of trying to get him down to the center of Kingsley Suamataia. So we'll see here again. This is a decent job here, trying to work his hands. And instead of him going around, he has to go through Kingsley. That creates more hesitation and more hand fighting. So you see him continuously try to hand fight here. This is a good job. He's in good position. And what you like here is that his shoulders are not turned to the sideline. They aren't this way. So they're nice and square. He's in front of Trey Hendrickson, and he's just going to keep working, right? Works his hands. This is also what we call a Hamilton. We're seeing it on both sides of the football now, where you have offensive linemen and defensive linemen doing it, just trying to grab those wrists and push them up away from him so he can continue to work. And Kingsley's going to do a nice job of reconnecting that hand here, fights off and comes up underneath again. So this is a really good rep from him, keeping his base underneath him, his shoulders square, and continuously hand fighting. So again, this was early in the football game. And we got a little bit more here from the early parts. We're going to, for the most part, going chronological order with this, just trying to get an idea of what they were doing. And this is, again, another area where they were able to create some problems for Trey Hendrickson early. Now, I don't believe that Rashee Rice was supposed to be chipping here in the same sense. He was trying to get out for a route, because this was a 2-man route concept and more of a play action where you've got Xavier Worthy coming out here. Down, you've got this big route down the left-hand side of the field, and they want to get, I think, Rashee Rice over the middle here somewhere. It's hard to tell because he doesn't end up finishing his route, but they're trying to open up space there to create that, and he just kind of hits Trey Hendrickson, and then he falls, trips down, and this is where Patrick is really looking for him. You can see he's looking for him to probably clear and get in here. That's what it looks like to me. And then you've got, again, Patrick's eyes are here. So again, it looks like that's what they're looking for. And, just throws off Trey Hendrickson's his style. He's trying to go speed. He's trying to go quick. When he gets that all thrown off, it's all over from there. Like he can't do what he needs to do quickly enough. So all of that just to show that they were doing a pretty good job early on in this football game of creating different problems for the really quick and fast pass rusher. And we saw, Patrick Mahomes getting out here and doing his thing with his legs. So apologies about the shifts in the film, did not translate very well. But one of the bigger problems I think that Kingsley has against this type of pass rusher, and why I think it's a very unique thing for him specifically, because his first step here, this one is a little late. So he's trying to get out back. If you guys watch here, the timing and right foot of Jawan Taylor and then his follow foot, he does a little bit of a chop thing. You'll see, he's boom, boom. He's choppy out there. Kingsley is a little bit more labored in that first step. It's not always that way. I do think he's got more explosiveness in him because I've seen it. He's the really good athlete that was at BYU. We've seen it in the preseason where he can actually jump out of the stance and get back there. But what this out here does is when you have the tight end lined up here who's not actually touching anybody, he's just going out for a route. This creates almost a wide 9 position. For a speed rusher off the edge, it creates a much better angle for him to attack and get to the back and get to the arc, attack the arc and get to the quarterback. So what all of this is doing here is really putting Kingsley at a disadvantage. And you see him shoulders open up right away. He's trying to get out there, trying to make sure he can get to the edge before Hendrickson does, but he's unable to do so. So you see right there really quickly. And when he's late, your hands can't operate properly. So he's trying to get out there. His hands can't get on Hendrickson, and that's what he's waiting for. Once he gets to his spot on the edge of the arc here, he knows that if hands have not attacked me yet, I'm going right here. So he's already pretty much in line, and you see the hands coming here. He's going to take his right hand, slap, rip with his left hand, come underneath, and then it's over. He already lost that rep. So while the Chiefs were attempting to get in his way some way, just put hands on him. You got to get more hands on him if you're going to be chipping. This was a big problem, and it's been a consistent problem for the Chiefs tackles when they need a little bit more chip help. They don't always get it in the same way. The Chiefs try to manufacture different ways to do that. So I would like to see if they're going to offer more chip help going forward, because regardless of whether it's Kingsley, who I do believe is going to still be the starter going forward, you have to get hands on some of these faster speed rushers to throw them off. So this was something I put in there that didn't have anything to do with pass protection. It's the Chiefs' way of creating different looks. So they have both tight ends in the backfield with Isaiah Pacheco, and they're going to pull Joe Thuney, come out block, and then lead block. So it's almost counter basically, but it's from a different look. You got two guys in the backfield. And what I want you to watch here is just what Kingsley does, because he's not paying, or he's not that he's not paying attention. I think he forgets what he's supposed to be doing on this play. So Travis Kelce's coming out here to block down. You have to take this player right here. You have to, specifically because Joe Thuney is out pulling. So you need to come down, block this player. I think he forgets that Travis Kelce is coming out, but at the same time, it needs to be inside player first. It needs to be the inside player first. The outside player can wait. So he does not block this person. And now we see Creed Humphrey trying to do what he can with his left arm, even though it's not his block. And this guy's coming down here and he's going to blow up the play. So there's a little bit of confidence right here on what would have been a sack if Patrick didn't get the football out, and then missing a block here that he's got to work on. That's mental issues. Like, he's got to be mentally engaged on that run play to be able to come in and make the right block so that the play can at least be successful. On the 1-2 yard line, you're trying to score touchdowns. Like, that's what you're trying to do. And you can't miss blocks in this situation. It's part of the reason that the Chiefs' red zone and inside the 5 offense was not very good in this football game, not just because of Kingsley, but lots of different players were having problems. One guy seemingly always missed something. So we've got some more here, but this is another problem with the late hands. So I talked about getting to his spot while Trey Hendrickson's getting to the back of the arc to his spot as well. And you see here, once again, quick flashing of hands. When Trey Hendrickson knows that your hands are not coming up to meet him, he's going to go. Like right here, he's a little bit too patient. You'd like to see the hands maybe a little bit higher, but I don't have a huge problem with the hand carriage here. You want to strike faster because he's going to get out here to the edge. And then by that time, he's going to find a way to get past your hands because he knows they're coming at that point. So he's got to get a little bit better with his hand usage and timing here. So he's puts it out there and then he kicks that foot back, unfortunately. So that left foot goes back with his left foot or his left hand out. And that creates an easier path now for Trey Hendrickson to get down here. So the timing of the hand needs to speed up a little bit. He's got to get that hand location out there, try and strike him in the chest, or at least fake it. Like put one of these fakes out there where you're just kind of, going out and then bringing it back. And then so you're seeing what he's going to do next, and then maybe you can counter that. So there's a lot more to do with technique than ability. And that's the big thing I want to focus on here because Kingsley has a lot of legitimate tools. And 2 games in, we're talking about how is he going to get better? And this is the growing pains part of it. So we're focusing a lot on the negatives here. That's because they're going to do the exact same thing in meetings. He's going to be working with Andy Heck this week. This is all about getting back on the horse. And he's going to get back out there and he's going to learn from these mistakes. He's going to learn from this specific pass rusher because, again, this is the biggest, I think, type of pass rusher that's going to give him problems. And once again, he opens his shoulders right here. And you can see he's defeated at this point. He's like, I'm getting beat by this guy the entire time. His body language is off. He was not confident in himself. And when you're going up against some of these guys as a rookie, they're not going to take it easy on you. They're not going to take it light. And so what you want to not do is, again, we talk about shoulders. You need to keep them as square as possible until they declare what they're doing. So right here, he's a little bit late once again. Trey Hendrickson's a step, probably half step early than him on the snap here. So he's trying, and you got a little bit of chip help on the outside, but again, nothing happens. Nothing actually happens. And I know you want to get the ball out quickly there, but if you need to help your left tackle, I want to see you as a running back come out and actually chip him, especially if this defensive end is coming on the outside. You have to give him a little bit more help, especially at this point in the game where he's struggling. This is just before halftime. So give him more help, but he is upright, a little more upright than you would like. His shoulder, he's kind of clapping his heels, clicking his heels together instead of taking individual steps to get back there. And his shoulders are 100% parallel with the sideline. That's just going to get you beat. And then he's got hands in the chest, allows Hendrickson to put his hands in his chest to push him backward. And from there, the rep is over. So Trey Hendrickson absolutely beat him up in this football game. It was not good. But let's see how it looks against maybe some non-Trey Hendrickson pass rushers. And the threat of Kelsey kind of being here throws off Joseph Asai, and it's over. That play was already over. It's interesting to watch when you don't have a guy who's got such legitimate speed off the edge that isn't going to attack and is lined up more on the actual tackle or the tight end here. It makes his job much easier. This is what the Chiefs want to do. So against guys that aren't as fast as Trey Hendrickson, this will be a much more likely outcome. And I think that he saw even more positive reps against Odafe Owe against Baltimore week 1, where he's in good position. His shoulders are square. He's in between him and Patrick Mahomes. Like, you're not getting through here. And then they also leak out the running back to the opposite side as well. So there's a lot better here. Position wise, his good technique. He's not dipping his head. His feet are underneath him. So we have actual tangible evidence that yes, he can do this. He needs to learn to time the snap a little bit better. As much as we hate Juwan Taylor for his false starts and things like that, he times his snap perfectly. For the most part, he times it. So he needs to be able to learn to get out there, because when he gets hands on, is actually actively using his hands, boom, like that, it looks much better. And he's going to be much more confident in it going forward. So you're going to have some reps where he also won. And I know the ball comes out quickly here, but he is the guy on the left-hand side of the offensive line that is supposed to be blocking. Like, he's not going out for the screen here. He's, again, in good position. Shoulders are squared. He's getting pushed back, but he's not beat. Okay. He's keeping Trey Hendrickson right in front of him. It's what you're asking for. At the end of the day, against against one of these kind of pass rushers, you're just asking him to get the job done. And he did right here. Better position. He was already out and he had to get out because you got Isaiah Pacheco coming here for this little middle screen almost. And again, good position. His shoulders aren't all the way turned. They're turned to Hendrickson. So we have a little bit of speed to power here coming from Hendrickson, who's going to try to get into his chest. You would like to see him prepare a little bit better for the speed to power, but here's the initial reworking his hands underneath, making sure that he's not getting beat inside. When Hendrickson went speed to power, I think Suamataia did a much better job of managing it. I still think he's got some technical aspects to this part where he needs to be better at as well, where, you know, we see that two-step hop, right? From a lot of the elite tackles and elite offensive linemen where they just do the two-step hop to reestablish themselves and anchor in the ground. This is where he's going to have to get a little bit better, maybe rework those hands inside, but that's what he's doing right here. Try and slap those hands off instead of just taking really quick steps back. You want to get both of those feet back to absorb that power. So this one, again, it was a better rep against Trey Hendrickson where he keeps his shoulders square and he's making sure that he's doing everything he can without the two steps that we usually see to be able to keep himself in the path of Trey Hendrickson. So there was a lot of bad from this game. There absolutely was. And this was the crowning achievement on the benching for Kingsley. Once again, beaten to the outside, but then comes back to the inside. The big problem that we saw from Kingsley at BYU that I've talked about is his inside awareness. And he expected Hendrickson to go around. Okay. So he's expecting Hendrickson once again to come around. And that's going to force him to get out quickly. And then he's going to open his shoulders again, but he's not expecting the hands to the chest right there. So he opens. And this is really what you don't want to do. One, when you attack with your inside hand versus a defensive end who you believe to be going to the outside, what do we see? We see shoulders now back to the sideline because it has to. Your right hand is coming over here and it's going to open or close your shoulders off. So this is once again a really nice job from Hendrickson noticing, especially because you got your left hand all the way out here. Like that's not a recipe for success. It's just down at your side. It's not helping you at all. So he's going to counter to the inside after this push right there, pushes him off, and it's over. Patrick stepping up in the pocket, and it's done from there. So technique, it's all technique right now. The tools are there. And this is his second game. It's his second game. I know it was hard to watch. And again, I'm going to say it once more. Trey Hendrickson is the type of pass rusher that he will struggle with in his rookie season. He just will. He's so good with his hands. He's quick. He's fast off the line of scrimmage. And all of those things do not help Kingsley getting better. Now, they will going forward. He's going to learn because he's still young. So don't grab your pitchforks just yet, guys. It's game 2 of his NFL career. Got to give him a little bit of grace. That there's a reason that Andy Reid and Brett Veach and really Andy Heck drafted him. It's a developmental curve. Eric Fisher was not the player that everyone expected him to be at the end of his career, or that he was at the end of his career. I'm not saying he's going to get to be Eric Fisher. I'm just saying that there's a lot of growth that has to come with all of these young players that are coming out of different plays. Now, this is the last play I'm going to show you, and it's the Patrick Mahomes interception. This is something I mentioned on the Monday Q&A because I was frustrated with how this play ended up going out. So let's go ahead and watch it, and just why Patrick threw this football will be it's always going to not make much sense in my head. Also, good job on the offensive line. They did a very good job of protecting. Everything there is open. Patrick just throws this football away seemingly. Now, let's look at the play itself. They got 2 receivers on the outside, and they're running deep corner routes. So they're going to stem their routes to the inside, try to bring those defenders in, and then hit the corner. Justin Watson here, Xavier Worthy here, okay? And I want you to pay close attention to the safeties and what they're doing. And really why Patrick should be looking at the safeties and not at the middle of the field at this point. Opening shoulders when you have wide receivers breaking to the outside should be a natural throw it to the corner because they're out of position. You got, again, two tight ends in the backfield. Travis Kelce's leaking up, and then he's stopping in the middle of the field here. You've got Noah Gray coming up through the same area, releasing to the flat, and play action to the flat from Isaiah Pacheco. So you have a couple of different stretching vertically, horizontally, trying to open the middle of the field as well. But when we're watching how this play unfolds, one, the pass protection is good. This is a fantastic pocket. Good job, Kingsley. Good job, guards. Good job, Juwan Taylor. This is a fantastic pocket. So let's go here. You've got shoulders turned to the inside. You've got shoulders turned to the inside. You know both these receivers are breaking out. And specifically, when number 29 is down here with his attention right here, honestly, Patrick is forcing this ball to the middle of the field where you got three defenders and two underneath defenders specifically. And this should be going to Xavier Worthy all day. I know he's not looking there, but this should be going to Xavier Worthy over here. Throw it over here. You throw it right here, he's going to go get that football. He's going to go get it. Instead, Patrick thinks that the underneath linebacker is going to go down here a little bit more and stretch with the play action to the flat from Isaiah Pacheco, and he doesn't, and instead is interception. So this one, just like the one in the opening week, was a decision that Patrick should not have made. Now, I don't know what they were expecting because, again, this was a choice route according to Andy Reid, and there was a miscommunication. But also, Patrick threw it late. He threw it late. Like, I feel like he should have been, if he's going to Travis Kelce the whole way here, this ball needs to come out a little bit earlier. Okay, he's looking here. Now, throw it, because Travis is going to turn around. But it looks like he had looked at the safeties really quickly there and then decided against it. But just look at the offensive line where we get to see, again, some decent hand usage inside. Nice job from Juwan Taylor here. Hand inside, hand there. Now, this is where you don't want to be if you're Kingsley, but he's going to recover decently enough. Right there. Nice job getting his hands located on the outside shoulder to where he can now recover. That was a very good move from him. He doesn't have to worry about the speed from Trey Hendrickson, so he was able to recover back to the inside there with those hands located on the outside shoulder. So all in all, a good play. The Chiefs just did not execute this properly. Specifically, Patrick Mahomes did not execute this properly. So, yes, Patrick is fantastic. I don't think he played his best football in this game. It's okay to take a little bit of solace in the fact that he's making these mistakes now in the early part of the season. I do think the Chiefs are trying to incorporate more to their offense and be different because passing is down across the league. Touchdowns are down across the league. And they are trying to adapt to that with a little bit more of the run game, but still trying to let Patrick be Patrick. So those are also going to work themselves out. But we have to remember it's been 2 weeks now, 2 weeks of the season. So let's try and give all these players a little bit of grace and see what they've got. Kingsley does not have a much easier matchup. Matthew Judon, especially assuming he plays against him this game against the Falcons, is not the speed rusher that Trey Hendrickson is. So there's at least that going for him. But Judon's a very crafty, powerful defensive end. So it would not surprise me if you see him struggle a little bit in that game as well. Just hopefully he bounces back and has a lot more positive reps. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown of Kingsley and then that last play that Patrick threw the interception. So if you guys, again, if you're new to the channel, please hit that sub button right now, become a member of Rogue Nation, and I hope I was able to earn a like from you guys for something that you learned. And if you did learn, please hit that like button right now. We've got more content coming for you every single Friday. Ryan and I have the game plan. We will also have every game after every single game. We'll do those post-game reports for you guys on the live on the RGR channel. So join us for those. Have yourselves a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next.